Hello, I'm Dustin Hirsch, the service manager for the Grasshopper Mowing Company, and today we're going to talk about our stand-on mower and getting it tuned up for this coming mowing season. So today we're going to talk about the air filter, the engine oil filter, fuel filter, spark plugs, mowing blade, and belts. First thing we're going to talk about today is the engine fuel filter. The fuel filter is very important for the engine because it's going to filter the fuel before it gets to the carburetor or to the fuel pump, which is good because it's going to capture and collect any types of debris, little pieces of grass clippings as such. To identify the fuel filter, it's very typical and common what they're going to look like on any type of our mowers. The opaque color is one way to kind of give it away to look for if you're having a hard time trying to find one. But also know too that there is a directional flow of fuel that goes through this filter, and all of them will be identified by an arrow. As we go around to locate this fuel filter, again, you can start as a reference point coming off of your fuel tanks, follow the fuel hoses as they travel down to the engine somewhere, and ultimately you will discover and find the actual filter itself. Replacement of the filter is quite simple. As long as you have a pliers, you remove the two hose clamps from the old filter. Again, making sure that the flow of fuel, you want the arrow pointing to the hose that's connected to the actual engine. So as you can see here, this is how it would be installed. Next, we're going to talk about doing an oil change and filter change on the actual engine. Draining the oil on our stand-on mowers. This particular model that we're seeing here is our stand-on model with the Kawasaki engine. Locating the oil drain, it's fairly simple and easy. Kawasaki's made it that way. The actual drain hose, look for the area where the actual oil dipstick is, and then right next to that oil dipstick area is going to be the physical hose itself. That's kind of clipped on, the little plastic clip that's kind of connected to the oil dipstick tube. You can unclip the hose. It has a disconnect that you can unscrew here, and it's also long enough that you can simply lay it back along the back side of the deck shell, and having a drain pan, you can then simply drain the oil out of the engine. Once the oil is drained, we can go ahead and bring the hose back up and clip it back into place. Once the oil is drained, next is going to be the actual filter itself. As you can see right here, the engine oil filter is going to be close to the drain hose area. It's a kind of like a black canister style looking type of filter that you can grab onto with your hands, or if you may, you can get like a oil filter wrench and remove the filter. Some oil may come out. Just make sure maybe put a rag or something down underneath the filter base area to kind of help capture and collect any oil that may kind of leak out of the filter when it is removed. Once the filter is removed and you go to install the new filter, go ahead and just get you a little dab of oil from the oil that kind of drained out, and just put a little film of oil on the rubber seal of the new filter. That will allow it to spin against the filter base easily and won't cause it to come off on you. Next then is going to be the engine air filter. Typically most of the engine air filters are always going to be located somewhere on the top side of the engine. You'll see this rubber ejector valve that you can sometimes clean out, especially when you get into the middle part of the mowing season and you don't want to take the whole filter cap off. You can squeeze this ejector valve and kind of pull out any debris that may come out of it. To gain access to the actual air filter canister itself, there's a couple clips that can be unbuckled. Remove the canister cap. That then will expose the actual air filters. This style air filter is like a dual style air filter that has an outer air filter in addition to an inner air filter as well. Air filters are very important for your engines, obviously, because the engine needs air, oxygen to have good combustion into the combustion chambers of the engine. So we want to protect this engine from any dirt and debris being sucked into the engine. This is where the air filter becomes very viable and important to the performance and longevity of your engines. This is probably something that you want to inspect, especially in the middle of the mowing season when the conditions are become a little bit dirtier and drier and dustier, you got more debris in the air getting sucked in here, causing your filter to get dirty. Obviously this one is brand new and it's not dirty at all, but give it a season of mowing time, it'll be completely different. Always consult your operator's manual for service intervals regards to the hour time frame, but also cleaning the air filters. Never use compressed air to clean out a filter. If you want to clean the filter at any time, you can remove it as such. I would recommend just to leave this inner air filter in place. It is your safety backup. Never should be removed until you're ready to replace it. And again, always consult your operator's manual when that should be done. If you want to clean it, you can remove this outer one and then tap out any dirt or debris out of the filter to give it a little bit of a cleaning. Next, we'll be inspecting the mowing blades. Again, every time before every mowing season, it's always good to get a good look underneath the deck, pull the blades off, give them a good inspection, and making sure that they have still a nice cutting edge. If not, we're going to need to pull them off and do some cleaning of the blades, some sharpening of the blades. We have some in-depth videos on our YouTube channel that go over on how to properly sharpen and balance our blades. Next, we're going to talk about belts and making sure during our spring tune-up that we do a good inspection of the belts, making sure there's no signs of slippage or crackage of the belts, but also to the tension of the belt. On all of our decks, mowing decks, we have a spring that applies tension to the belts. That way they're always under proper tension out there mowing. On our stand-on unit that you see here, to gain access to the tensioning spring as well to do a visual inspection of the belt, you'll come over here on the right-hand side. Now, for the sake of time, we've gone ahead and removed most of the fasteners, but just know that there's going to be roughly 4 to 3 bolts that's going to hold our shielding on in place. Simply going to remove one of them. I'm going to slide the shield out of its way. And again, on all of our stand-on units, the tensioning spring will be on the right-hand side as you're standing on the unit again. Always refer to the owner's manual on any of our springs for our belt tensioning and look up the certain measurement of the spring. We'll give certain measurements of the tension of the spring. Essentially what that equates to is the distance of the coils of the spring itself, not the hooks, but just the coils themselves. When we're doing an inspection of the belts, again, it's very important, probably every 100 hours or such, to do a good inspection of the belts. What you're looking for is if there's any cracks, any splits, you know, like this particular belt that you see here, that's got a pretty good severe split into it. It was still going, it was still working, but at some point it's going to break and you don't want to be out in the field when that happens. So, but also too, looking for any hardness of the belt. You can tell if a belt's been slipping aggressively because it will have a glazed look to it and real shiny. And if you do see signs like that, go ahead and replace the belt and keep it as a backup just in case if you want to. Just know that if you got a fresh set of belts on there, that's going to give you also a good cut quality. If you got a good set of deck belts on the unit, and any belts in general as well. Next is tire pressure, and making sure that you're running the correct tire pressure on our units is very important for a few reasons. One main reason is basically suspension of the machine, cushion feel of the machine, but also the levelness of your deck cut. Most of our drive tires, there will be a decal that's going to give the pressure setting for the tires. We do run low pressure in our tires, especially on our drive tires. That gives us the best feel, the best cushion, if you will, but also traction-wise too. If the tire is able to kind of squish a little bit, that's going to give us more surface contact to the ground, give us ample traction, but also comfort feel as well. So always look for that in regards to a decal next to the valve stem. It could range from 9 pounds to 8 pounds to even sometimes 6 pounds. On the casters up here at the front on our stand-on unit, we run a 13-inch pneumatic caster wheel. If you'll notice, there's no decal for the tire pressure. This is where it's always good to refer to the operator's manual no matter what. Typically, we're going to suggest to run between 12 to 15 pounds of pressure in our 13-inch pneumatic casters. But again, also too, the point is making sure that both the front casters are running the same pressure, equal to each other, as well as the drive wheels or tires as well, making sure that they're the same. Again, that coincides to a good level cut. And finally, deck leveling. If by chance you're running into a cut quality issue or an uneven cut of the mowing deck, now it's time to check out how to level our deck. Go to our YouTube channels. We have in-depth videos on how to level our decks, no matter which model that you may have. For example, this one here is our stand-on mower that you see here. We do have a video in regards to how to adjust the levelness of the deck. When you need to do this, again, is when you actually physically notice a difference of levelness of cut or a cut quality issue with your Grasshopper. And finally, don't forget about the spark plugs whenever you're doing a tune-up. Spark plugs are very important in regards to a tune-up of an engine because they're going to provide the spark, which is going to ignite your air-fuel mixture and give you the proper combustion of the engine and give you good performance of the engine. If by chance you run into a misfire of the engine, spark plug might be a #1 thing to take a real close look at. Changing them are very obvious and very easy to do, but hey, always refer to that operator's manual to know when and how to replace your spark plugs. And last but not least, don't forget about your battery. When it comes time at the end of the mowing season and you go to put your lawnmower up for the season, make sure to protect your battery with a battery minder. You can plug this thing into a 110 outlet, and it's got cables on the back that you can hook up to your battery. This is going to keep your battery warm and happy through those cold winter months. And that way, come springtime next year, your battery is strong and ready to crank that engine over. All right, so what I've covered today, any homeowner can probably do it if you're more than comfortable with doing any of the types of those tune-ups on your Grasshopper mower. However, if you don't feel comfortable about it, go ahead and call up your Grasshopper local dealer to help you out with any type of tune-ups or any type of maintenance that you may need on your Grasshopper mower. Check us out on grasshoppermower.com. Check out all of our product line, even some of our front mount attachments and everything we have to offer to you in regards to either be mowing or year-round service. If you like this, go ahead and check us out on our YouTube channel and give us a like and a subscribe.